everyone, and welcome to my channel. It's just going to be a short talk through sort of video today. I got this set of Kuretake Gansai Tambi watercolors from Amazon not too long ago, but I actually haven't played with them yet. My boyfriend has used them, so you'll see there's some little blobs where he's tried them out, but I haven't tried them yet. I've heard lots of other YouTubers talk about these. I have their Starry Colors set, but that's quite different because those are metallic. But I figured I would just try these out and do a little painting with them. Sort of a nice, simple thing to do on a Sunday. But yeah, I've heard a lot about the differences between these and Western watercolors, so I'm aware of what they are, and I sort of know what I'm getting into. But so far, yeah, they're really nice and vibrant and also quite translucent. They're kind of juicy, or like fruity, I guess. It's less like painting with cream and more like painting with juice, I guess. I don't know if that makes sense. But yeah, they're super vibrant. I like the assortment of colors that come in this. This is the 24 color set. I didn't need the larger color. But yeah, so far they bleed into one another quite nicely. Lots of nice motion. We'll see how they dry. I'm curious about the effect that it has once they're dry. So that's sort of why I'm painting quite wet. I want to see how it does with more puddly colors. But yeah, I mean, as far as format goes, like, this is much more of a desk set, you know. They're not secured in their trays, so they would definitely not be the best for traveling. Oh, that's a pretty color. I like that one a lot. That's a really nice color too. This whole row is really nice. Alright, we have sort of an ultramarine here. More of a phthalo type color here. And that's a little more of like a Prussian blue. There is actually a translation of the colors on the inside of the lid, but sort of a dioxazine purple. more of a burnt sienna color. There's your burnt umber or sepia. That's a nice black. That would be really good for calligraphy. It doesn't move too much. We'll see what this white is like. Yeah, I think that white is probably fairly opaque, so you could mix that with the other colors to get sort of a more of a gouache feeling to it. But yeah, overall that's a fun set of colors. They're kind of dribbling all around there, but we'll see how they fare when they dry. But for now I'm going to work on this little painting here. It's just based off of a photograph that I took at the zoo one time of a baby Rocky Mountain bighorn sheep. So I'll paint this little lamb. We'll see how the other ones dry, and then I'll give you some of my thoughts on it at the end. But I mean, knowing that these aren't precisely like Western watercolors or gouache, I'm not going to be like holding them to the same standard, I guess. And I don't know, I'm pretty relaxed when it comes to media. Like, I feel like if all I had in the world was Crayola watercolors, I could probably make it work. But yeah, I'm just gonna do this really fast. I'm gonna leave it in real time. Just a really loose little study. And get lots of nice green in there. And I'm also just mixing everything on the page pretty much. I mean, the nice thing here about having such a wide range of colors to start with, especially in the greens, I like that there are so many greens in this set, is that you can just sort of paint straight onto the paper and still feel like you're getting a wide range of colors. Whereas if you're working with a limited palette or with like only the most classical pigments, I guess, then you're gonna have to do a lot more mixing on your palette to get some of the tones that you want, or do some really like hardcore academic glazing or something. Yeah, I like these greens a lot. I'm going to let that layer dry and then jump ahead and do the lamb itself. Okay, that's about dry now. You can see all of the dendritic forms that it made while it's drying, those little fingers. That's mostly just because I made the wash so juicy. Obviously, if you're going to be more controlled with your application, you'll probably get less of that, but that's sort of what I wanted, so pretty content with that. And then we'll finish up this little guy. I'm going to actually do a little bit of mixing now because the thing with this palette is there's not a lot of neutral colors. A lot of them are very high saturation colors, and I do want him to be a little bit more toned down, a little more naturalistic, so gonna be mixing those colors to get there. But I'm still going to be sort of loose and fast with how I'm finishing him up. Interesting there on the nose. That's some of the easiest dry brushing I've ever got with watercolor. So that's quite nice. The fact that the pans sort of stay gooey enough that you can get a dry brush right in there and do some nice dry brush techniques is that's kind of fun. It's not something I use very often, but that's really helpful to know. And again, that would be really useful for calligraphy or something like that, where you want that quality of brushwork. These colors re-wet really easily, but then they also stay sticky really easily. They're sort of like Graham watercolors in that way. I don't use a ton of Graham watercolors. I use mostly their gouache, but they have a lot of gum arabic in their watercolors, so they stay really sticky. But even the paints themselves are drying quite slow. Like there's still sections of the wash that are wet over here and on the other page here. A little bit gooey, and some areas are drying shiny as well. So that's just something to note, I guess. So far my impression is that I like these a lot better in paler washes. So I might use it for just coloring pencil sketches and stuff like that. Like this has a really nice quality, but when you put too much pigment in, it's staying gooey. So yeah, I have a feeling I'm just gonna leave this open overnight, or else the book is going to stick. The pages are going to stick because of some of these very gooey watercolor spots. Hopefully not. If I just leave it open for a while. Yeah, like even this wash here, which was actually quite light, is still wet, so definitely a slower drying time than most watercolors, I would say, or maybe it's just extra humid where I live today. I'm used to things drying quite quickly because it's dry and hot here most of the time, but maybe it's not today. I guess it's raining, so maybe the humidity is affecting it. Anyway, I still think I'm getting some neat effects with this. But I don't want to push this sketch too far. Like, it's just a sketch. So I think I'm going to define around the edge of this little guy with some of the green and probably leave it at that. I'm just painting negatively around him to make him seem a little fuzzier. Get in some of the details of the ear fluff that you can't get with the transparent medium in the white. So since I left those areas mostly white, now I can go in with a green here and pick out some of the fluffs. Yeah, I think that'll be it for that little lamb. It's a cute little study. I think it turned out all right. And it was good to get to know these paints a little bit more. I'll show you the little gradients I did on the other side here. So you can see lots of the blooming, and I don't know if you can tell in the camera. Ah, yeah, there you go. You can see how these areas over here have stayed sticky and shiny. I packed a lot of pigment in there, and yeah, those are gonna, like, they feel dry though, but they're still glossy. So, I don't know, just something of interest, I guess. If it was all matte, it would be pretty standard to me. But some areas where the wash is a bit thinner, it's very matte, very just like paper texture, which is nice. That turquoise and the cornflower blue kind of faded away to nothing. They were overpowered by these other colors, which, you know, I'm not too surprised by. The white impeded the black from moving very far, but the black didn't have a lot of motion anyway. It's very sort of stays where you put it, which is good to know. The burnt sienna color here really ran and overtook the violet. You guys probably saw that happening. It was quite a quick overthrow. It conquered that section. I'm gonna pull the tape off here and we can see how this looks. It's got some pretty nice edges, I think. It's a little wet down here, so I think I'll leave. I'll just take it off. I don't really care. This is just a sketchbook, just for playing around. But yeah, it's got some pretty nice edges. Most of this big wash here dried quite nicely, and yeah, I like that quite a bit. So there's the final little guy there with the Kuretake Gansai Tambi Eastern watercolors. Overall, I think it's quite a nice set. Definitely really fun to play with. Will I be using this for my professional work? Probably not, but I'm sure other people do. It just depends. I don't know, I find with paint it often depends what you used first or what you really loved first. Like, I know people who use exclusively these paints, and that's awesome, but I feel like I'm married to gouache by now. And so that will always be my my mainstay for my professional work. But yeah, it was fun to play with this. And I hope you guys enjoyed this little painting. There, I think that'll be my thumbnail. Alright, thanks for watching, guys, and have a great week. Bye!